So I've been doing 2-week trials for 2.5 years on this channel, and I can honestly tell you I have never been as mind blown as I currently am. My friends, welcome back to the rabbit hole. This is going to be a very interesting video, at least I think so. Let me tell you what the premise has been. So, as you know, I do these 2-week skincare trials on my channel, and I thought, it would be pretty interesting to have two completely different price ranges of skincare applied to my face for a full 2 weeks. In all truth, I thought about doing this years ago, but I was kind of worried that if I did this, I would start looking like the classic truck driver photo. So I put it off. And as time progressed, I started to, find so many fantastic skincare products at the drugstore that were working just as well as the high-end brands that I'm used to. I started to think, I don't actually think there's going to be massive differences. I think I can do this, and I formed a hypothesis. I thought that at the end of 2 weeks, there would be very little changes, and it would be an interesting way to kind of showcase that you don't have to spend extra money on skincare to make an effective skincare routine. That's not what happened. I'm going to take you guys through everything that did happen, but I want you to know in advance that this side right here is the drugstore side of my face. I applied a total of $83 worth of skincare, actually less because I had to pull one product from that for 2 weeks. And then on this side of my face, almost $1,600 worth of skincare. I wanted to also keep this simple because I kind of figured that it would get really exhausting, and it did. I'm not gonna lie to you, these last 3 times that I did this routine, I was like, oh gosh, only 3 more times, only 2 more times, only 1 more time. It's a lot to not just think about what steps you're doing in your skincare routine, but steps for different sides of your face. I think before I get into showing you the products, I'm actually going to tell you what happened. So it took a grand total of 1 week to start seeing changes. And at that 1 week mark, I started to notice that the side with the drugstore skincare, my lines were more smoothed, my skin was kind of just glowing a little more over there. Let's go ahead and go through the routine that I followed, and maybe we can try to figure out what on earth happened together. So, I did start by cleansing. I've been using the Tula cleansing balm and the eye balm as well, followed with the Fresh Essence, and then, of course, my 2 different priced serums. So one of my goals in doing this was to try to find products that would have similar ingredients, similar claims behind them, and I thought I would go with the number 7 Protect and Perfect Advanced Serum, which is $30 for an ounce, as well as the 111 Skin Y Theorem Repair Serum, which is $350 for an ounce, because both of these are kind of relying, if you ask me, on sodium ascorbyl phosphate, which is a very effective form of vitamin C, especially if you have my skin type. I'll link my vitamin C video if you need more information, but that's one of my absolute favorite ingredients in the world. Both of these products do share that ingredient. The main difference between these is that the number 7 relies on silicones to kind of give a very silicone feel and spreading across the skin, whereas I think this one is silicone-free, but if you saw my Instagram, we are reserving judgment on the 111 Skin brand. I did email them for further clarification on what's going on with their ingredients, but it's a bit confusing right now, so I don't really want to review this. I just want to tell you about the comparison. The actual feel of applying these two it really exemplifies the entirety of this luxury versus drugstore. This one feels so light and airy and glides across the skin, and this one, it feels like silicones, which are a cheap ingredient, but here's the thing, can you use silicones and still have the same results? Well, I'm going to tell you what. My thoughts after using both of these all over my face, all over my neck, is I didn't see any differences between using these. And adding on to that, I think that if you really want to have a high impact skincare routine, I would go for those ingredients that are most effective and just purchase those. Again, why I love the Mad Hippie Sodium Ascorbyl Phosphate Serum, so much. That's what you get in these, except you get much more with the Mad Hippie. So, you know, both of these worked. I think both of these are fine, but, you know, one happens to be well over 10% more in cost. The part of this trial that is moisturizers kind of just ended up all kinds of wonky. What I thought would be my night creams did not end up being my night creams. I have a favorite luxury product here, and I had to get rid of a drugstore product. I'll try to condense this as best as I can. The Garnier Moisture Balm Antioxidant Super Moisturizer. This is around $10, $11-ish, and I've used this before with no problems. My plan was to use this on this portion of my face right here. I break out here and I need a less heavy moisturizer, and this one does have a very light texture to it. But this is the product that I had to pull from this routine because around a week and maybe a couple of days in, I really started to break out from this. I started to sting my face every time I applied it. This product does have fragrance in it, and I kind of felt like I was living what Beautypedia has talked about with fragrance and skincare, how you can use it just fine for so long, and then one day your skin is like, hey, I'm done with that. That's basically what happened to me. You know, it was just instant pain when I would go to pat this onto my skin. So I realized, we're done with this. The fragrance in here seems to have suddenly started to irritate my skin, even though I effectively used it in the past. I used it for a full week, which left me using CeraVe exclusively. CeraVe is a little bit heavy, and it's not my preference to use on that portion of my face, but I did it anyway. I'm going to tell you this. I used both the moisturizing cream and I tried out the skin renewing night cream. I think that what's important to consider with using CeraVe, this is going to be another kind of trait of this comparison. When you use CeraVe, it's kind of thick, it doesn't really spread all that well, but it does have really good ingredients. It does have ceramides, which are fantastic for healing the skin. It's overall a good product. It's just not cosmetically elegant, or at least not as cosmetically elegant as the luxury products in this video. I will try to kind of show you guys this. So you see how it's a bit thick? This is just the regular daytime cream. And you see you can buff it into the skin. It's a little more work. It just doesn't glide on quite as beautifully. So then I did test 3 corresponding, or so I thought, moisturizers from luxury brands. We had to do La Mer's Creme de la Creme. This one is $335 for 2 ounces. I'll give you it's a larger size than usual. The Guerlain Orchidée Imperial Cream, this one is $460 for 1.6 ounces and gave me several existential crises over the course of this trial. And then the Clé de Peau Intensive Fortifying Emulsion, which they claimed was a night cream, but this is the product that ended up kind of moving things around in my luxury routine. So this one is actually $160 for 4.2 ounces. I actually just really liked what this is. This is a very lightweight product, and you know, that's what you expect when you see that word emulsion, but I guess I thought with it being a night product, maybe it wouldn't be this light. So what happened is I ended up moving it to this portion of my face. So this left me with this comparison of La Mer for nighttime use and then the CeraVe Night for nighttime use, which was a really good combination. I did run out of the night CeraVe, but you know, honestly, both of them were very similar in results for me. Just one was a lot less. You know, I can't hate on La Mer. I did enjoy using it. I just don't personally see a lot of incentive for me to buy it again. $335, I'm good. CeraVe was close enough for me. So in comparing CeraVe to Guerlain's Orchidée product, you know, what they claim is going on with Orchidée is there's orchids in it. Great. And when you get to the bottom line with these two products, and you'll understand my existential crisis, this is about $10 for 16 ounces. This is $460 for 1.6 ounces. That means that this is about $1 for the exact same amount you pay $460 for here. This Guerlain cream is 460 times the price of CeraVe. When you start getting into comparisons like that, it's actually really hard to remove bias. I mean, yeah, the Orchidée is nice to use, but you're now saying, is it 460 times nicer to use? And then when I look at the results side by side, it's not even that much better. It's got a little bit of an edge in that it blends on the skin better, but 460 times, I don't know how to compare this. I think that when I had the expectation that maybe the luxury side would be a little better, I felt like maybe I could make a comparison of, oh, maybe it's 10 times more nice, but 460, haha. Instead, it's kind of like, no, it's the same exactly. I'm having that existential crisis again right now, if you can't tell. So at the end of both my day and my night routine, all I did was take a couple of drops of either the Ordinary's 100% plant-derived squalane, which retails for $7.90 for an ounce, on this side of my face, or the Guerlain Youth Watery Oil, which retails for $90 an ounce on this side of my face. Now, again, with oils, you need so little. All you are ideally doing is locking in everything that you've applied to your skin. There are some major differences between these two oils. The Ordinary's is, like it says, 100% squalane. And this is where it gets really interesting to me. If you're using a 100% oil on the top of your routine, then you are essentially making everything that you've put on under that do its job more effectively because it's kind of getting trapped into your skin. The reason why I think this portion of my face looked so much better than this is this product. Because in spite of the $90 price tag on this Guerlain product, the ingredients list isn't actually all that impressive if you're really looking for an oil. It's actually got more alcohol than oil. It does have glycerin and it does have royal jelly, which I will say that is an interesting ingredient, but by the time you actually find any oil in here, it's after the preservative that you can't have in a product at over than 1%. So I think what was going on is that this product with the alcohol in it was not locking in these luxury products as effectively as the $8 The Ordinary oil. And before I move on from talking about those, I do want to make sure I actually show you guys some close-ups that I took in different lighting so you can see the two sides of my face. That, by the way, is before I have any skincare applied. I did forget to take the picture until before this whole routine, so I do have some essence on my skin. But hopefully you can see that, the lines are just more smoothed out even without the oil. And that's really important because applying products, especially products that are real rich in hyaluronic acid or humectants, could alter your skin's appearance. So I wanted to make sure I took those photos before anything is applied. And we'll finish off this video by talking about these masks. I did compare the Sisley Black Rose Cream Mask, which is $162 for 2 ounces, to the e.l.f. Whipped Plumping Mask, which is $10. Now, the difference between these two is that the e.l.f. Whipped Plumping Mask is a wash-off, and that's kind of it. There's a lot of humectant-rich ingredients in both of these, shea butter, just, products that are going to increase the moisture levels in your skin, but I did prefer the Sisley because you leave it on your skin, and this is something I've said in other videos before. I think I'll always prefer these type of masks to be in a leave-on formula because there's really no reason that they should need to be washed off. That said, if a product tells you to wash it off, you kind of have to because you have to assume, well, there must be something in there that they don't want me to leave on my skin. But I'll tell you this, even though I did prefer the Sisley mask, I don't see myself repurchasing it because I have found a lot of comparable masks in this, in the mid-range pricing. I know Estee Lauder has some, I know Bobbi Brown has some, and one that I've even repurchased myself is from Nuxe. Now, Nuxe one was about $25, those Estee Lauder, Bobbi Brown, those are going to be, $50, $60-ish dollars. But that said, to me, they were pretty much the same as this. I'm not at this time aware of a drugstore mask that is quite what this is. That's not to say it doesn't exist, just that I haven't found it. So I want to end this video with my final thoughts, condensed as best as possible. I feel like what I learned from this trial is that drugstore skincare can be just as good, if not better, than luxury skincare, but I think there is a catch. It seems to me, and bear in mind this is my anecdotal experience, it seems to me that I run into issues with the fragrance in drugstore skincare at a higher frequency than the fragrance in luxury skincare. Now, please do not take this as an across-the-board assumption. I think that fragrance is actually one of the most problematic ingredients in skincare. But I also think from what I've tried that it seems there is more potential for concern when you get into these drugstore products. I went really in depth into this in my Burt's Bees video, which is a brand I also had to quit because of the fragrance. So I'll link that if you want more info. But you know, you really don't know what fragrance is used. It's the only ingredient that is protected by law. Brands don't need to tell you what they're using, but it seems that whatever is in scented drugstore skincare, maybe it's I don't really want to say it's of a cheaper quality, but it probably is. That's a logical conclusion based on the price. And the thing is, every single one of the luxury products that I used in this video does contain fragrance, while interestingly, the Drugstore Side ended up being completely fragrance-free by the end of the trial once I removed a product that was actually giving me a lot of issues. So I guess in the end you could also argue, well, maybe you didn't do a trial based on prices, in spite of the fact that, yes, one half of my face was 95% more expensive than the other side. Maybe this trial is really just fragrance versus not. So let me know what you guys think of this. Again, my mind has really been blown for an entire week now. The second I saw the direction that things were going in and how unexpected it was for me, I was just kind of, I've made this clear throughout this video. This is not what I expected. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please feel free to comment your thoughts below. Are you as surprised as I am? If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you have any trial ideas, drop them in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.